Tonight, the Carolina Hurricanes are back home in Raleigh to take on the Nashville Predators as they look to bounce back from their loss against the New York Rangers earlier in the week. Find out what they need to do and if we will be seeing Max Pacioretty in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
Your Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you're listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Thursday afternoon. And today's episode is brought to you by the lovely folks over at BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes and myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis_96. And like I said, today we're going to be previewing tonight's game against the Nashville Predators. The Hurricanes are coming off of that loss to the New York Rangers earlier in the week, which saw their historic win streak and point streak come to an end. Obviously, we knew those things couldn't go on forever. And like I mentioned in that recap, historically, how the Hurricanes have played up in Madison Square Garden seemed kind of fitting. But they're looking to bounce back tonight. And, shortly after I posted yesterday's episode, we had some news come out. If I waited a little bit longer to record, then, that could have been included in yesterday's episode. But Max Pacioretty, we had speculated yesterday on whether or not we could be seeing him soon because on the 29th of December, article was put out by the Hurricanes that we could be seeing him within the next 10 games. And yesterday, he was activated off of that, activated to the roster. And, that's definitely a very good sign. He is ahead of schedule in terms of his recovery. And I think that, like I said yesterday, they wouldn't have put that out if he wasn't right around the corner to coming back. And with him getting activated, I think it's a good sign. I do. And like I said yesterday, I want to be wrong about that. I thought we'd be seeing him sometime next week. I didn't want to rush his recovery or anything like that, but he has been activated. And I think it is a real possibility we could see him tonight. There is no morning skate today, so we won't know until later this afternoon whenever Rod Brind'amour and the guys speak to the media. Yeah, I want to say it's around like 4:30 this afternoon when that will be. So we aren't going to know for quite a while if we're going to be seeing him tonight or not. But I do think it is a really good sign. And if for whatever reason we don't see him tonight, considering he has been activated off the list, and I do think it is very real that we will see him sometime very soon, if not tonight. The next game up is Columbus on Saturday and then New Jersey on Tuesday. I think if we don't see him tonight, we see him in one of those two games. But I honestly think, we could be seeing him tonight. I really, really do. And it's almost like they want it to be a surprise of like, oh, he's going to be playing. Yeah, there's no morning skate today. I don't know. There's obviously a lot of stuff that goes into that kind of thing. But not only did he get activated, Andre Kasha was placed on long-term injured reserve. And I really think this was just a cap move. I don't think this was anything to get worried about because, he has been skating and, he is obviously in that yellow no contact, but he is skating and he is practicing. He's been practicing for about a month now. He started back in, I want to say in that article was December 8th. So it's been quite a while. It's been almost a month, but it was stated that there is no timetable for his return, which is why I think they just moved him on over and they're letting him do, his thing. Like I said, with it being concussion, I want him to take as long as he needs to get better. because you don't want to rush that kind of thing. Absolutely not. And then Fitzgerald was also placed on waivers, and I think a lot of us kind of forgot he was there, and I think that is just kind of a move to be able to send him down to the AHL. I don't really think that's not really something that's going to affect the roster in the way that Pacioretty or Kasha would in whenever they would come back. But and one thing with Pacioretty potentially playing is Stefan Nazin. We may or may not see him tonight. He's questionable. He did not practice yesterday. And if you remember in that game against the Rangers, he got hurt with a lower body injury in the first period and then tried to come back out in the second and couldn't be done. Since then, the only update we have gotten has been that he wasn't at practice yesterday, and that's it. So it's gonna be pretty darn interesting to see whether or not he plays tonight. Again, just like Kasha, Pacioretty, all the guys that are hurt right now, I don't want him to rush back and potentially make it worse. So he's been on a tear, and we're definitely going to feel it on the power play, which we'll talk about later, because he is the team leader in power play goals with 6. And yeah, so that's really going to suck of not having him. But again, I would rather the power play take a dip further than it already has this year. But I'd rather that happen than risk losing him for the rest of the season in the postseason, because obviously we don't know what it is. It could be something minor, it could be not. I don't know, but you know, like I said, the Hurricanes are coming off that 5-3 loss against the New York Rangers. And while they did lose that game, we do have a couple of streaks going on still with Marty Natchez having that 6-game point streak and Brent Burns also having a 4-game point streak. And those guys, I think, are going to be key in this game tonight. They're guys that they're on a roll. Like let's keep it going. And I think that it's gonna be a fun game. I think it's going to be a bit of a revenge game for the Hurricanes. While they obviously say the streaks aren't big to them. You're on such a good run. You it's gonna be frustrating when that kind of stuff ends and in the fashion that it did. Yeah, it'd been one thing if the win streak ended, but the point streak kept going. But they everything just fell apart there in that third period, and I think the Hurricanes and the guys, they're gonna be frustrated about that. And I think that this is gonna be a game where they're gonna really come out and get after it, because historically the Hurricanes are very good against Nashville. So again, that's historically, that's not tonight. Very much like I was saying against New York, while that did kind of ring true, with that game, you know, history is on the Hurricanes side with this game because they are 23, 14, 1, and 3 against Nashville all time. And then and keep in mind, they are playing in Raleigh tonight, and they are 14, 3, 1, and 3 at home against Nashville. And since 2016, 2017, they're 15, 3, and 0 against Nashville. So historically, they got Nashville's number, which is going to be something that I think plays into their favor tonight. And again, that home record of how good they've been at home against Nashville, that's going to be something that's going to be on their side. And then, obviously they're at home. The Hurricanes typically always play really, really well at home. Yeah, it's a Thursday. It ain't going to be super packed or anything like that, but it they always play really well at home. They always feed off the crowd, and they defend their building well. And that's gonna be something that I think really plays well for them tonight. And, Nashville, they're coming off of a good win against, Montreal with a 6-3 win, but they themselves are 4-3-3 in their last 10, and we will talk more about Nashville and more about what the Hurricanes need to do in tonight's game to come away with the win right after this quick break. Now, folks, the Hurricanes are playing the Predators tonight. They got Columbus on deck and New Jersey after that. So if you're wanting to place a bet on any of those games, make sure you do so at BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. So get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to basketball to hockey, whatever you want, they've got it at betonline.net. And of course, if you love sports podcasts, which I know you do, you can even find those at betonline as well. They're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. So head over to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, as I mentioned, the Predators are did come off that win against Montreal where they won 6-3. Nina Niederreiter, former absolutely beloved Hurricane, had 3 assists alone in that game, an assist hat trick. But as a whole, they are struggling this year. They've again 4-3 in their last 10 games. And a big thing for them is that they are struggling to score goals. Have 98 on the season, which is the fourth fewest in the NHL. Whereas the Hurricanes, you know, as of late, their offense has really been booming. And the one thing that has saved Nashville is that their goaltending has been pretty darn good. And with that, you look at how they've been struggling. I think one thing the Hurricanes are going to have to do tonight is their defense is really going to have to be on top of it, which typically it is, but it's going to have to be extra suffocating because we know how tight they can play and again just suffocate the opposing team. And that's what they're going to need to do tonight because you have a real opportunity to do that with just how Nashville's offense has been struggling this year. This is a really good opportunity for them to bounce back. This is a good bounce back game for the Hurricanes coming off that loss. I said a bit of a revenge game, with your streaks coming in to an end. But that aside, it's a good game to get back on track. Let that New York game just be a bump in the road, in terms of the bigger picture for the season that's hoisting the Stanley Cup. And this is a good game to bounce back, play your style and suffocate Nashville and not let them score any goals. That's something they're already struggling to do. And I think that this is going to be a good place for them to do it. And, it's going to really have to be on 5-on-5 because, you know, the Hurricanes power play, both teams have really bad power plays, this year. The Predators are 28th in the NHL at 17.9%, and the Hurricanes are just slightly above them at 26th with 18.9%. So, you don't probably not expecting to see many power play goals in this game. Obviously, we want the Hurricanes power play to show up, but where they're pretty evenly matched in terms of power play, it's the same thing with the penalty kill. The Hurricanes are 13th in the NHL in penalty kill at 80.5%. Preds are right behind them at 15th in the NHL at 79%. So they're going to be pretty evenly matched there. So I'm not expecting to see a bunch of power play goals. How we saw that in New York. I'm not expecting that tonight because both of these power plays are really bad and the penalty kills are pretty good. And I with the Hurricanes this year, guys, we just don't expect power play goals. And like I mentioned earlier, with Stefan Nason being questionable of whether or not we're even going to see him tonight, if he's not out there, I'm really not expecting to see much in the terms of power play goals. So I think that the Hurricanes, when it comes to 5-on-5, they're really going to have to take advantage of that because, again, power play, not that great. Now, of course, that's not saying that I don't want it to show up. I absolutely do because you look at that. Nashville's power play is bad. You're probably not going to be expecting much in terms of goals from them. You're not going to expect multiple power play goals from Nashville tonight. So, hey, like I always say, that one power play goal could make the difference. Go back to Detroit. Brady Shea's first power play goal was the one goal scored in that game. New York. You score one power play goal, take that empty netter away from New York. All right, you're tied at 4, and you're going into overtime. So that one power play goal can always make a difference. And it's not that I don't want to see one tonight. I absolutely do. I want the power play to show up. I want to get it out of the bottom of the barrel in terms of the league standings. I wanted to get back up at least middle of the pack. But it's something that's something they're gonna have to take advantage of, obviously, but 5-on-5 really is where they're gonna have to really show up and just suffocate, Nashville. And, with that, I think that they do have a good opportunity there because, well, yes, Nashville's goaltending has been good. Uh, their offense has not. Again, they've been struggling big time to score goals, whereas the Hurricanes are not. And the Hurricanes are second in the NHL in terms of shots in the game, at 34.9. Get that number up tonight. Really, really suffocate or really just pound Nashville's goalie, whoever they have in between the pipes tonight, and just batter them. Because you know I think one thing the Hurricanes need to do, if that is the plan, they're really just gonna go for it. Make sure you're shooting to score, not just shooting to shoot, because that has been an issue in the past for them. But I think that the Hurricanes, they really can win this game. This is a game they should win, and I think they can. And it's like I said, it is a good game for them to be able to bounce back and get their feet back under them, put New York behind them, and just like I said, have New York be a bump in the road to the ultimate goal of winning the Stanley Cup. And I think that this is a game tonight where they can do it. But one thing I forgot to write down in my notes is Nino Niederreiter. I think that's going to be one thing that could really help Nashville tonight. And we will talk about how he could help Nashville as well as the keys to the game right after this quick break, folks. Now, folks, it is the new year. And if you're looking for a delicious treat to start off the new year, but you don't want all the fat and the calories, then you got to try a Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I knew my goal is to eat a little healthier this year. And if you're like me and you want to eat healthier, but you don't want to compromise taste, then I've got something for you. You've got to try Built Bar. Built is healthy and actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious. You won't think that they're good for you, but they're perfect for your New Year's resolutions. And you got to be asking yourself, if you're new here, what makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, as you long term listeners know, they are covered in 100% real chocolate. And they've got unbelievable flavors like churro, my personal favorite, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. And I'm really not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while still maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy, with only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't want to wait around to get a box. And for years, we've been talking about ordering Built bars at built.com. And now you can go to your local Walmart or Sam's Club to get them. So that's right. Go to your nearest Walmart, walk in the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. And if you're close to Sam's Club, you can run in right now and grab a 13-bar box of their flavors, brownie batter and churro. That'll probably be where I'm going on my day off to get some more, because God, that brownie batter, that's a close second. It's a close second. But make sure you go get your Built Bars, folks. Start your new year off right, because I'm trying to, and I need your help, guys. So getting back into Nino Niederreiter, I've said in the past that it feels like, whenever the Hurricanes are going against former players, that those former players tend to play really well. Prime example tends to be James Reimer with San Jose. When we went up against him, he has looked like a freaking Vezina caliber goalie. But tonight, going against Nino, he was here for so long. He knows a lot of these guys here and how they play, I think that's going to be he's going to be a real big factor for Nashville tonight. And he's going to know how to get the better of the guys that are out there, all the guys that he played with for so many years here, whether it be Andrei Svechkov, Sebastian Aho, Jordan Martinook, Jordan Stahl, Jacob Slavin, and heck, he played with him, Calvin DeHaan. There's so many guys on this team that he has played with. He's going to know how to get the better of them. In between the pipes, Antti Ranta, especially if it's Antti Ranta, he's really going to know how to get the better of him. And then Pyotr Kochetkov as well. Pyotr obviously didn't play as much with Nino, but still played with him and still played several games with him, and is going to know, Nino's going to know how to get one past Pyotr, get one past Antti, and, get the better of all those other skaters out on the ice. So that is something that the Hurricanes are going to need to be able to minimize their mistakes tonight, minimize, guys know their weaknesses, and make sure that they're not letting Nino exploit those, because again, he's coming off a really good game against uh, Montreal, where again he had 3 assists in that game. He's going to know how to set up his guys for shots in this game. And yeah, Montreal or Nashville has struggled to score goals, but you got a guy that knows this team inside and out. He's going to be able to, be like, hey, you know, this is, Sebastian Aho. He struggles with this. So make sure you're right here instead of where you would normally be right over here. Or, do this instead of that. He's gonna know how to tell these people that. But on the flip side of that, you got a lot of guys that know how Nino plays. They're gonna know Nina's weaknesses. So that is gonna be something, he's gonna know that. He's been around long enough. He knows how this team plays. So that is something that the Hurricanes are really going to have to keep in mind tonight, because they are going against a really good player, despite Nashville's offensive struggles this year. And one thing, like I mentioned, the Hurricanes are really going to need to outshoot Nashville in this game, really pummel them, and because take advantage of that 5-on-5, because both special teams are pretty evenly matched. I'm not expecting much out of that. I'm expecting that to kind of just sort of just be a wash for this game, really. So they're really going to have to outshoot the Preds. And some other keys for the game is, as we mentioned earlier, power play does need to show up. While I'm not expecting much out of them, that one goal can always make a difference. And, I think that, with that, something I should have put further up in my notes is that, the Preds are 10th in the NHL in penalty minutes this year with 379 penalty minutes. So they're giving teams opportunities. And I think that the Hurricanes, whenever they get those opportunities, they need to take advantage of them. Again, while we've kind of grown to not expect much out of the Hurricanes power play, they're going to have opportunities tonight, and they need to take advantage of said opportunities, because the Hurricanes, they typically don't give a whole lot in terms of opportunities for other teams. They're 27th in the NHL in penalty minutes, 304 penalty minutes for the year. So the Hurricanes characteristically don't take a lot. We talked about that the other night. When they took so many. So I think that the Hurricanes do need to take advantage of the opportunities that they're going to have. And whenever they do have a power play opportunity, be taking these shots, shoot to score, don't just shoot to shoot, but, don't be just passing the puck around and not doing anything with it. You're not going to score a goal if you don't shoot, but make sure you are selecting that shot wisely, and rather than just, like you would in a video game, just firing it off. Make sure you're setting it up well. And one thing I do think they need to do tonight is, I'm expecting Pyotr to get the nod in between the pipes tonight. We obviously probably won't know much until probably about 4:30 this afternoon, in terms of the lineup for tonight. So we're really not even going to worry about talking about that today. But I am expecting it to be Piotr's net tonight, and just so they're kind of able to shake off some rust for him. Because he had an uncharacteristic game in New York of having some goals that he's going to want back. And I think that one thing the Hurricanes need to do with him is support him tonight, because again, he's trying to knock off a bit of rust. He didn't play for 2 weeks today, if you remember, we were talking about that yesterday. And you're gonna have to be out there and support. Don't hang him out to dry, and be able to let him get in a rhythm. I think once he gets in a rhythm, he'll be fine. But make sure it's not minute into the game, Nashville's out there, and turning them inside out. Yeah, because we know Nino can do that. He can turn a goalie inside out. Let's not let that happen tonight. Let's let Piotr be the top, one of the top goalies in the league like he has been this year. And, let's have that continue tonight, which I think it will at the end of the day. I think, again, once he gets in a rhythm, he's gonna be good. Hurricanes know that they're gonna be able to really outshoot the Predators. They're gonna be able to take advantage of their struggles on offense, and I'm not worried about this game. Well, I obviously am worried about the game. I always want them to win, yeah, because anything can happen on any given night. We got shut out by Arizona at home. Anything can happen. So, I think the Hurricanes should win this game. I think they will win this game, but anything can happen. So, ultimately, we just gotta wait for the game to get here. Puck drops at 7 tonight. Again, no morning skate this morning, so we're not gonna know if it's Piotr or Auntie, if Max Pacioretty is playing, if Stefan Nazin is playing. We're not gonna know this stuff until later. So make sure you guys are letting me know your predictions for the game by tweeting at the show on Twitter at LO_Hurricanes, tweeting at myself at Jared Ellis_96, or just letting me know in the comment section here on YouTube. And if you aren't subscribed there, make sure you are subscribed at Locked On Hurricanes. And I will talk to you in tomorrow's episode where we recap this game against the Nashville Predators. Hopefully, we weren't talking about Piotr getting turned inside out by Nino Niederreiter, but we won't know until we know. And in the meantime, let's go Canes.